So let's go out to Ann Arbor, as promised, and bring in Duncan Robinson now, the sharpshooter for the Wolverines. Duncan, let me start with this. I have never been in a position myself to climb up a ladder and cut down a net. What was that like?
It feels pretty good. I can't lie to you. But, you know, we were able to do it last year, Big Ten tournament, and then earlier this year, Big Ten tournament as well. But to secure that bid to the Final Four and you know, be in front of a packed Michigan crowd in the Staples Center was pretty special. Did
they, like, give you instructions when you're cutting it on how to do it the right way and the right length?
No. That was actually one of the things Coach B and I were joking after. There wasn't much order to it. It was just kind of a free-for-all. But luckily, you know, from the Big Ten tournament, we'd had a little bit of experience, so we were able to get it done.
So that probably means if there were no rules, Jordan Poole was just, like, taking as much as he wanted when he was up there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He was going out of order, you know, spent plenty of time up there making his presence known, shouting out people at the top of the ladder. You know, just classic Jordan Poole things.
Give me your favorite Jordan Poole moment from this year. And you can't take the buzzer beater. I'm talking off the court silliness, him making you laugh.
So I get the pleasure of being his roommate actually on the road. So I have plenty of them. But I would just say when we're in the hotel room, he just watches like Animal Planet and Planet Earth just nonstop on his computer. It's literally on repeat. He's just obsessed with animals, which is, I mean, it's great. I just don't know many, you know, college athletes who are as devoted to wildlife as he is, so it's pretty funny.
Good man. He likes nature. Very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you about a stat that is following you around this year. Michigan is now 28-0 when you score 6 points or more. Were you aware of that?
I wasn't early on. There have been a lot of people in my ear about it recently. Just like randomly people come up to me and be like, make sure you get 6. So, you know, it's fun. To be honest with you, I think it's a little bit arbitrary. I mean, 6 is kind of a random number, but you know, if it's working, then we'll run with it. I'll just keep trying to score 6, I guess.
Right. It's totally coincidental. It's not that if you have 5, you guys lose. If you have 7, you win. But it is kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Strange coincidence, I guess, but I'll just keep trying to take care of my end of the deal, I guess.
Let me go back to the last game you guys played. Why didn't the threes go down against Florida State?
I would credit their defensive effort first and foremost. You know, they're a really good team, well coached, and they got a really good athletes out there. And they made it tough for us. They switched a lot of screens and took us out of some stuff that we were trying to do. And then on top of that, you know, we had that Texas A&M game that we were coming off of, and you know, obviously we played really well in that one. So, you know, shots aren't going to fall every game, but you know, luckily we were able to really lock in on the defensive end and get stops, and I thought that was ultimately the difference in that one.
Are you saying coming off the A&M game, you guys might have had a little cockiness behind your ability to hit the threes to start things off?
I wouldn't say cockiness, but you know, when you have a shooting game like that, you know, it's almost abnormal in a sense. You know, water finds its level kind of the other way. So, you know, didn't shoot it as well. So, law of averages, I guess. But hopefully, you know, we can continue to make them, you know, going into this weekend.
I want to ask you about your defense. So, play a hypothetical with me. If I was thrust into your lineup and I had to play defense with you guys, what would be something that I would learn right away about playing defense this season as a Wolverine?
I'd start with just a phrase that we've used back into the summer, which is enter the fight. And that's something that Coach Yaklich specifically brought into this program. And, you know, you can have all the schemes and X's and O's on that end of the ball, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to competing. And, you know, that's something that we've really tried to take a lot of pride in this year, and I think we've done that. And to be honest with you, I think it starts with Xavier Simpson. I mean, he really sets a tone for our entire defense with just the passion that he plays with.
Enter the fight. So that describes how you play on defense or how you attack the game overall?
Specifically on the defensive end, you know, whether it's rebounding or keeping the ball in front of you, you just got to compete with a will to win. And, you know, you'll hear it, you know, if you're near our bench, you'll hear it muttered or screamed, quite frankly, throughout the entirety of the game. Coach Yak specifically, he's always honest about that.
Describe for me how Charles Matthews has played this NCAA tournament.
He's been incredible. The growth in his game over this year has been really fun to watch. I think when he's really aggressive, I think that's when obviously he's at his best, but also we're at our best. So, obviously this past weekend, he kind of carried us in those 2 games. So, hopefully he can continue to do that moving forward.
The post-victory locker room water fights. What don't we know about them?
That everybody takes a chance to pour as much water on Coach B as possible. You see the water going everywhere, but if you look closely at the video, each celebration you'll see at least 1 or 2 guys just directly pouring a bottle on Coach B's head. So it's our little chance to kind of get him in the mayhem of it all.
When did these start?
It started last year in the Big Ten tournament after we had that, emotional kind of events with the plane crash. And then I think Coach B also became the winningest coach in Michigan history in a win over Illinois in the first round of that. And, we started with the water, and then, we kind of kept it going throughout the rest of that season into the NCAA tournament. And we didn't really bring it back this year until the postseason. We won the championship in the Big Ten tournament, and then, a couple games in the NCAA tournament as well.
But to be clear, the goal is more than anything to get Beeline as drenched as possible.
Yeah, 100%. And, he's done a good job of coming back at us. I mean, he has the infamous Super Soaker moment, as many people remember. But, he was well prepared last weekend with the goggles, and then this weekend again, he had a, couple handfuls of water as well.
All right, you got a few more days, of course, until you're off to San Antonio. But what is the most important thing you guys have to do in Saturday's upcoming game?
We just got to lock in on the scouting report. They're a really good team, and, they're here for a reason with us in the Final Four, and, they execute at a really high level. So locking in on that and really these next couple of days getting an understanding of how they play, so we can put forth our best effort to try to slow them down.
Duncan Robinson, about to enter the fight of the Final Four. Congratulations on the great run, and good luck in San Antonio.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me.